Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk to you about why learning a second language is important. I will share my own story and tell you about the many good things that come from learning another language. When I was a child, I only spoke one language. I grew up speaking Spanish at home and school. Spanish was enough for me to talk to my family and friends. I thought I didn't need to learn another language. But one day, my teacher told us about the benefits of learning a second language. She said it could help us in many ways. This made me curious. In high school, I decided to learn English. At first, it was very hard. I had to memorize new words and practice speaking. I made many mistakes. I remember struggling with pronunciation and grammar. English has sounds and rules that are different from Spanish. It felt like learning to talk all over again. But my teacher told me that making mistakes is part of learning. She encouraged me to keep trying, so I did not give up. I studied hard, did my homework, and practiced speaking with my classmates. Over time, I started to improve. As I continued to learn English, I started to see the benefits. One day, I met a new student from the United States. He did not speak much Spanish. I was able to talk to him in English. He was happy to have someone to talk to. This made me feel good. I realized that learning another language helped me make new friends. I could connect with people from different countries and cultures. This was very exciting. Learning English also helped me in school. I did better in my Spanish classes because I understood grammar better. Knowing another language made me think more about how languages work. This helped me improve my writing and reading skills. I became more interested in words and how they are used. This curiosity helped me become a better student. Another great thing about learning a second language is that it helps you understand different cultures. When I learned English, I also learned about English-speaking countries. I learned about their holidays, food, and traditions. For example, I learned about Thanksgiving, a holiday celebrated in the United States and Canada. People come together with their families and friends to give thanks and enjoy a big meal. This made me more open-minded and interested in other cultures. I realized that there is so much to learn about the world. One summer, I got the chance to travel to the United States with my school. This was an amazing experience. I got to practice my English with native speakers. At first, I was nervous, but people were friendly and patient. They were happy to see me try to speak their language. I visited many interesting places like museums, parks, and historical sites. This trip made me more confident in my English skills. It showed me that I could communicate in another language and enjoy new experiences. Learning a second language also helps with your memory. When you learn new words and phrases, you exercise your brain. This can make your memory stronger. I noticed that I could remember things better after learning English. It was easier for me to remember names, dates, and important information. This helped me in my studies and daily life. Another benefit is that it can help you in your career. Many jobs look for people who can speak more than one language. Being bilingual can give you more job opportunities. It shows that you are dedicated and able to learn new skills. For example, you could work in international business, tourism, or translation. Knowing another language can make you a valuable employee. I also found that learning English made me more creative. When you learn a new language, you have to think differently. You find new ways to express yourself. This can make you more creative in other areas of your life too. For example, you might come up with new ideas for projects or solve problems in different ways. Learning a new language can inspire you to be more imaginative and resourceful. I told you about how I started learning English and some of the benefits I experienced. Now, I want to share more about how learning a second language opens up the world to you. When I became more confident in my English, I started to explore English books, movies, and music. At first, it was challenging. I had to look up many words and phrases. But slowly, I began to understand more and more. This gave me a new way to enjoy stories and songs. I read books that were not available in Spanish, and I watched movies without subtitles. This was very exciting for me. It felt like discovering a whole new world. One of the first books I read in English was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It was difficult at first, but I loved the story. I learned new words and expressions. Reading in English helped me improve my vocabulary and comprehension. It also made me feel proud of my progress. I started to enjoy reading in English more and more. I found new favorite authors and genres. This expanded my horizons and made me a better reader. One day, I joined an online English speaking club. We met once a week to practice speaking English. There were people from many different countries, like China, Brazil, and Germany. We all wanted to improve our English. We talked about our cultures, shared stories, and even cooked together online. This was a great way to make new friends and learn about different parts of the world. I learned about Chinese New Year, Brazilian Carnival, and German Christmas traditions. This made me appreciate the diversity of the world. Learning English also helped me with technology. Many websites and apps are in English. By knowing English, I could use these tools better. This made it easier for me to find information and connect with people online. It was like having a key to a bigger, more connected world. I could join online forums, watch tutorials, and read articles. This helped me learn new skills and stay informed about global events. One of the best things about learning a second language is that it makes traveling easier. When I traveled to the United States, I could ask for directions, order food, and talk to locals. This made my trip much more enjoyable. I felt more independent and confident. I could explore new places without feeling lost. I visited cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Miami. I saw famous landmarks, tried new foods, and made new friends. Knowing English made my travel experiences richer and more meaningful. I remember visiting a small town in the United States. I went to a local cafe and started talking to the owner. She was very kind and told me about the history of the town. She also gave me tips on where to go and what to see. If I didn't know English, I would have missed this wonderful conversation. I learned about the local culture and traditions. This made me appreciate the town even more. Learning English also helped me in my job. I work in a company that does business with people from different countries. Many of our clients speak English. Being able to communicate with them in their language made my job easier. It also showed my boss that I was willing to learn and grow. This helped me get a promotion. My ability to speak English made me a more valuable employee. I could attend international meetings, write emails, and give presentations. This opened up new opportunities for me. Another benefit is that it helps you understand your own language better. While learning English, I learned about grammar, vocabulary, and sentence structure. This made me think more about how Spanish works. I became better at writing and speaking in my native language too. I noticed that I could explain things more clearly and use more precise words. This made me a better communicator. I also realized that learning a second language makes you more patient and understanding. When you learn a new language, you understand how hard it can be. This made me more patient with people who are learning Spanish. I know how it feels to struggle with words and pronunciation. This made me more supportive and helpful. I could encourage others and share tips and resources. This created a sense of community and mutual respect. I shared my personal experiences and some of the great benefits of learning a second language. Now, let's talk about how learning a second language can improve your brain health and why it's never too late to start. One of the most amazing things about learning a new language is how it helps your brain. Studies show that people who speak more than one language have better brain function. Learning a new language is like exercise for your brain. It keeps your mind active and healthy. When you learn a new language, you use parts of your brain that you don't use when you speak your first language. This helps improve your memory and problem-solving skills. When you learn a new language, you use parts of your brain that you don't use when you speak your first language. This helps improve your memory and problem-solving skills. I noticed that after learning English, I could remember things better. I also found it easier to solve puzzles and think creatively. Learning a new language challenges your brain in different ways. You have to remember new words, understand different grammar rules, and practice speaking and listening. This helps your brain stay active and flexible. Learning a new language can also delay the onset of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. This means that people who speak more than one language can stay mentally sharp for longer. It's like keeping your brain young and strong. This is one of the best benefits of learning a new language, especially as you get older. Studies show that bilingual people have a lower risk of developing dementia. This is because their brains are better at coping with damage and finding new ways to process information. Knowing another language can be a powerful tool for brain health. Some people think it's too late to learn a new language when you are an adult, but this is not true. It might be a bit harder than when you were a child, but it's definitely possible. I started learning English in high school, but I have friends who started learning a new language in their 30s, 40s, and even 60s. They are doing great and enjoying the process. The key is to stay motivated and practice regularly. Learning a new language can be a fun and rewarding hobby at any age. One of my friends, Maria, started learning French when she was 50 years old. She always wanted to visit France, but she didn't speak the language. She was a bit scared to start learning at her age, but she decided to give it a try. She took classes, practiced with online apps, and even joined a French-speaking club. After a few years, she could speak French quite well. Last year, she traveled to France and had a wonderful time. She could talk to locals, order food, and understand the culture better. Learning French made her trip much more enjoyable. Another friend of mine, Carlos, started learning Japanese in his 40s. He was a big fan of Japanese culture and wanted to read manga and watch anime in the original language. At first, it was very hard for him. Japanese is very different from Spanish. But he kept practicing and slowly got better. Now he can read simple manga and understand basic Japanese. He says that learning Japanese has made him feel younger and more energetic. He loves the challenge and enjoys learning something new every day. These stories show that it's never too late to start learning a new language. The key is to be patient and persistent. You will make mistakes, but that's part of the learning process. Every mistake is a step towards improvement. The important thing is to keep trying and not give up. You can find many resources online, like language learning apps, websites, and videos. You can also join language classes or conversation clubs in your community. Learning a new language also helps you connect with more people. In our globalized world, being able to speak more than one language is a big advantage. It allows you to communicate with people from different countries and cultures. This can help you in your personal and professional life. For example, you can make new friends, travel more easily, and expand your job opportunities. I remember a time when I helped a tourist who was lost. He spoke English and didn't know any Spanish. He looked worried and confused. I went up to him and asked if he needed help. He was so relieved to find someone who spoke English. I gave him directions and even suggested some nice places to visit. He thanked me and said I made his day. This made me feel very happy and proud. Knowing English allowed me to help someone in need.
So far, I have shared my journey of learning English, the many benefits it brought me, and how it improved my brain health. Now, let's talk about personal growth and how learning a second language can change your perspective on the world.
Learning a new language is a journey of personal growth. It challenges you and pushes you out of your comfort zone. It teaches you patience, perseverance, and humility. When you start learning a new language, you realize that you are not perfect and that it's okay to make mistakes. This can be a humbling experience, but it's also very rewarding. One of the biggest changes I noticed in myself after learning English was my confidence. At first, I was shy and afraid to speak. I worried about making mistakes and sounding silly. But with practice, I became more confident. I started to speak more, even if I wasn't perfect. I realized that most people appreciate the effort and are kind and patient. This new confidence spilled over into other areas of my life. I became more outgoing and willing to try new things. Another way learning a second language changes you is by making you more open-minded. When you learn a new language, you also learn about the culture and traditions of the people who speak it. This helps you understand and appreciate different ways of life. It makes you more accepting and respectful of differences. You start to see the world through a broader lens. For example, when I learned English, I also learned about the culture of English-speaking countries. I learned about their holidays, like Thanksgiving and Halloween. I learned about their customs and traditions. This made me more interested in other cultures too. I started to read about different countries and their ways of life. This new curiosity and respect for diversity made me a better person. Learning a new language also helps you develop empathy.
When you struggle to learn a new language, you understand how hard it can be for others. You become more patient and supportive of people who are learning your language. You know what it feels like to struggle with words and grammar. This shared experience creates a bond and a sense of understanding.
I remember meeting a new colleague at work who was learning Spanish. She was from the United States and spoke English as her first language. She was having a hard time with Spanish. I remembered my own struggles with English and decided to help her. We practiced together during lunch breaks. I was patient and encouraging, just like my English teacher was with me. Over time, she improved and became more confident. This experience made us good friends. Helping her reminded me of my own journey and how important it is to support each other. Another amazing thing about learning a second language is that it opens up new opportunities. It can help you in your career, travel, and personal life. Knowing another language can make you more competitive in the job market. Many employers value bilingual employees because they can communicate with a wider range of clients and colleagues. This can lead to better job opportunities and career growth. For example, you could work in international business, tourism, or translation. Knowing another language can make you a valuable employee.
Traveling becomes much more enjoyable when you know the local language. You can connect with people more easily, understand their culture, and have a richer experience. You can explore places off the beaten path and have conversations with locals. This makes your travel experiences more memorable and meaningful.
For example, when I traveled to the United States, I could ask for directions, order food, and talk to locals. This made my trip much more enjoyable. I felt more independent and confident. I could explore new places without feeling lost. I visited cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Miami. I saw famous landmarks, tried new foods, and made new friends. Knowing English made my travel experiences richer and more meaningful. In your personal life, knowing a second language can help you connect with more people. It can help you build friendships and relationships with people from different backgrounds. It can also enrich your everyday life by allowing you to enjoy books, movies, music, and news in another language. This can be a fun and rewarding way to practice and improve your language skills. For example, when I became more confident in my English, I started to explore English books, movies, and music. At first, it was challenging. I had to look up many words and phrases. But slowly, I began to understand more and more. This gave me a new way to enjoy stories and songs. I read books that were not available in Spanish, and I watched movies without subtitles. This was very exciting for me. It felt like discovering a whole new world. In conclusion, learning a second language is a journey that brings many benefits. It helps you grow as a person, improves your brain health, and opens up new opportunities. It makes you more confident, open-minded, and empathetic. It enriches your life in many ways and allows you to connect with more people and cultures. I encourage everyone to start learning a second language. It may be challenging at first, but it is worth the effort. The journey of learning a new language is full of rewards and can change your life in many positive ways. So take the first step and start your own language learning adventure today. Subscribe to the channel if you want to learn a second language. Also, watch other stories on my channel. The link to the playlist with stories is in the description.